Welcome back to another episode of the Contact Center Cactus Chat. Back here in the Philippines again, and we've got Jake back. We're here together again in the Philippines, and just came back from your trip in the U.S. for many months.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we're here again recording for another topic. And yeah, it's nice to be back. And people are excited, probably excited to hear our new episode.
Yeah, I hope so. If you're listening, then you should be excited, because today we're going to be talking about how outsourcing can help impact small businesses. And if you're a business owner, unless you have a giant business, then more than likely your business is considered a small business. In fact, you kind of forget, you think of the little mom and pop companies, that's a small business. But according to the SBA, if your business has under 40 million in revenue, or you have under 1,500 employees, you're still a small business. So that covers a lot of companies out there, right?
Yeah, it's surprising that the level of considered a small business is taking revenue as that high. So there's a lot of you over there, and I know that some of you are struggling, and you might want to listen and consider the ideas that we have here, and these are all based on the experiences that we had for the past years of working with.
Not just years, 8 years. We're still celebrating the 8-year anniversary of PacBiz, and Jake made it back just in time to celebrate with us. And I thought it was kind of cool, because usually you're welcoming me here, and I got to be here and welcome you here.
Yeah, you got in here first. So.
Yeah, beat you here. So, but yeah, 8 years. So we've had 8 years of experience working with small businesses across the UK, Canada, and the US. And we've seen a lot over those last 8 years. And even before this, 8 years ago, I had my own taxi business, and Jake was supporting that. So, well, we have seen a lot and gone through a lot together.
Oh yeah, I can remember I don't know how we categorize that company, but it was really small.
I don't think it doesn't fit under the small business definition. Micro business, I think, as a category, it would probably be a micro business. So.
Yeah, and from the experience that I had on that working with you at that time was really a lot, like taking care of being a call taker and dispatcher at the same time, building relationships with the drivers, and along with customers are pretty common, and they like the business, so they call back, and get to know their voices, and being familiar with where they go, and all this stuff. So looking back, I can think like what are the missing pieces for that company to be successful. And as we all know, we transitioned it to a call center, and are going to continue working with that business. So we can spot what are the missing pieces of small businesses to make it more successful. We work with different level sizes of businesses. So there are small businesses, there are big businesses. So we can really see what you're going to become if you're a small business, and what to expect if you're going to grow bigger, and even more, double or triple the size of your current businesses. So we can guide her from there, basing on that, and a lot of if you would ask, we are prepared. Like there are groups of agents who are taking care of bigger businesses that has a really different kinds of guidelines, like more stricter, more like really in line with the policy, and that they really built for having to run the business for a while. So, and there are also businesses which are small, and it's like kind of freestyle, like just being a call taker, do whatever you just take calls, and take the orders, and let the dispatchers deal with dispatching, and those things. So and outsourcing, or we talk about outsourcing, how it helps small businesses. Yeah, we there the aside from what I mentioned earlier, the size of businesses that we cover is, uh, we had that big company before. You can remember, Eric, and we can really see how I mean the expertise of those people over there on shore. Like they tell us, this has to be done like this, and then the things that really they consider more, um, the counting of the state, for example, the reasons why we have this no show. Well, for small businesses, I don't know if with TrueCap before, we would say that no show it's because the customer wasn't there, and we didn't question why. So, when
So what Jake's talking about, for you, those who are not in the tax industry, no show is when you go to pick up a customer and they're not there.
yeah, they're not there, and so this bigger companies has this questions why. So we need to provide those reasons why the customers were not there. Is it the fault of the call taker, the dispatcher, the driver, or the customer? So we need to work with that. We're not recording this stuff for Eric. And I think those are the things that the small businesses or the businesses who just started doing with with the taxi business would have to learn. And yeah, well,
You make a great point, because the way I look at it is a small business is like this. When you first start out, you're wearing a lot of hats, right? And you're just starting out. All those different hats, maybe you're updating the website, you're answering the phones, you're managing the staff, you're hiring, you're doing the interviews, you're doing the training. And as your business gets bigger, you get to take some of those hats off and you get to give them to other employees.
yeah.
And so, and then you get to be more sophisticated. I think even here at PacBiz, the policies and procedures that we have today compared to 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when we were much smaller, or as Jake was saying, when I had my own taxi company, almost over 10 years ago now, we're just trying to keep the lights on. We're just trying to get day to day. And the challenges for those businesses are different as you get bigger. And so what's interesting for us is we have to adapt to wherever that business is at, whether it's like a business owner that's wearing a lot of hats. Okay, we could take a couple of those from you so that you could focus on other things. And then as it gets bigger, it's not that we're taking away work from the owners. Now it's like there's challenges in the business, such as they know that the calls need to be listened to, but maybe there's a lot of turnover, so they can't keep up with that. Or they know that things need to be measured, and we need to look at listening to calls. We need to look at doing all this stuff. That the business owner with all those hats, they can't do that because they got all those other hats. So they got to focus on paying the bills. They got to focus on being the banking person, and so it really becomes challenging.
Yeah, it's really important. It's how the customers are taken care of. Like, one customer can cause an impact to if you're living in a small city or with your small taxi business, and that's it's really rare that you don't have a competition. It has you have to have a competition that other people are running taxi businesses over there. How would you be like ahead of them? Of course, we're getting the right people. Just connecting to the right outsourcing company. And that's the reason why. There's a lot that you can get from outsourcing. Then just trying to run your own business on your own, and aside from what Eric mentioned, that trying to get some of your hats, like give it to us, and aside from that, the company that you're trying to work for, like I'd like to mention, the act is it's we've been here for 8 years, and we've seen a lot from the smallest business to the biggest business that we had, like thousands of fleets.
And multiple industries. We've had big clients that are in e-commerce and other industries. And, just today I had a whole conversation with someone that manages a hotel and resort. And we're looking at airlines, we're in healthcare, we're doing virtual assisting. And the virtual assisting stuff is cool too, because we're working with really micro businesses. They're wearing all the hats and they're being overwhelmed because they're managing their own calendar. They're following up with people on their LinkedIn on top of like, what do they got to do to push the company forward? It's a lot. So we get to see all that. And I think one thing that, people, what are some actionable takeaways here? If you're a small business and you're scaling, and like, what can you learn from working with a call center? And I think one of the things that I've seen time and time again is a nice pattern, which is when people outsource, especially for the first time, then their key people, they're never let go. They're never fired. What do they do with those?
Put them somewhere else. Like, being a call taker is, it's somehow like, you'll be trapped on that chair for 8 hours, just doing the simple job like taking calls. And though it's simple, I would say, but it has to have the skills like, how to handle, talk to a proper way of talking to the customer. Like, we always wanted them to call back. The experience is also there that we consider that they will be happy, and during the the conversation, and there's so many things that should be considered being a call taker as well, aside from those things. But going back to what are those people that used to do that call taking do right after outsourcing? They can be doing so many things like the marketing and doing so many stuff, planning ahead, checking what would be the coming events, so many things, and a lot. The weather, or that can also be considered. That there's so many things that would come up, by just changing the weather. Like, there's a storm coming in, and things like that. And busy time during Christmas seasons, and we would talk about this when they have that event in locally. So if the call takers are not available, we're here. We take over, and we're not trying ourselves, thinking that I could be in that event while I'm here, because you're the things that are happening there are not happening here. So what excites the people there to go out and not to go to work doesn't affect the people who are working here in the Philippines.
So when people are outsourcing for the first time, then that means that jobs are impacted locally, but not necessarily. Like, I would say 80 to 90% of the time, what are they doing with those people, those key people that maybe have been managing the call center, taking calls? They don't just get let go, right? Like, what do you usually see those people end up?
Actually, there are two things that's going to happen. The people who are giving them headaches, they can go.
Yeah.
And the people who are really helping them with the company, they can stay, and they can give them a different kind of, level of roles. And they can help planning, managing the business, and while the other people are who will be you can identify where they will be good at. So that's another help from outsourcing.
Yeah, because I think a lot of business owners that dream about, like, oh man, if I could just have this person take this over, but I can't because they're taking calls and I can't. We keep losing people and answering the phones. And those are the little bit bigger of a business. We also work with a lot of businesses where they're smaller. Like I mean, I think of like home service companies, like when everyone first gets started, like with me in the taxi business, we were literally answering our own phone calls for the taxi company, and that's where we started the call center. And I just had this conversation with the resort owner, or someone that manages the resort just a little bit ago. They're like, we don't want to. We want to focus on the operations of the hotel. We want to focus on making that a great guest experience. But instead, they've got to deal with, they had 3 people answering the phones and handling reservations. And like, there's a lot of turnover. People aren't maybe performing well. And that's just one symptom. Let's talk about the other one. When you are running, if you have someone working at your company, answering the phones, answering emails, and you're a small business, how much time and resources you have to listen to the phone calls, to look at their metrics,
Exactly.
to see, are they doing average handle time? When they make a mistake, are you able to coach them and making sure they're making improvements? Many times with a lot of these businesses, it's an afterthought. And so when they start to outsource, now they're able to improve customer service because now we do all that. We're listening to calls. We're coaching the agent. We're making sure that they're logged in on time. And if not, someone else is filling in, or we're working with the client to make sure, they fill in for a little bit, whatever. We work as a team to make sure that the calls are being handled, the customer's getting a great experience. And it is a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that you don't get to do when you're a smaller company. It just gets ignored.
Some other companies are, taking calls by, just casually talking to the customer. Like here on the outsourced company, call takers or agents are really trying to make that customer feel like, he's being valued. Like, the way they talk to them, proper way of, introducing the company, stuff like that, the opening speeches and those things, and don't not interrupting them while they're talking. Those are small things, but those are, they feel different right after that. Like the experience that we're talking about, it's different. So that's how outsourcing companies' role is really taking impact to those small businesses. And I can there are small other businesses are saying that your call takers are amazing. How come we did think of that? Like just talking to customers while just that's how if you're working in a call center for a while, that's within you already. Like you can't take that away from you, even if outside talking to different people, and it's already within you. So that's something that we have with our company that no, that's we say is normal, but I can see how amazed those small business owners when they hear how our call takers take the calls, and how we talk to their customers. And for sure, first time customers will call back because they know they can feel how they were treated when they call.
Yeah, and it's, again, a lot of people start a business and they've got this dream that they want to make it this bigger company. But many times, the majority of small businesses that are created out there fail after 5 years or so. And like, why is that? It's because you're not able to do everything that you want to do. Like, if you had more time, money, resources, then you might be able to make that business successful. Maybe you're just in the wrong industry completely, but that's another story. If you're seeing the growth, if you're seeing the potential, we're getting more customers. Now we can't keep up. We're getting calls, but we can't keep good people on the phones to answer them, or the business owners answering them.
Or even worse, the people that don't show up. Like, how many times can your business be closed or not available because they're not there, they're not showing up. So you don't need to worry about those call takers or agents not showing up in your end. That's our problem, and we have a lot of people that can fill in and cover shifts.
So for small business owners, you guys listening here, if you're the entrepreneur and you're doing a lot of the work yourself, then think about like, okay, what is your goals? Where do you want to be at the next 3 to 5 years? And how are you going to get there quicker? Because time is money, and you can't spend the rest of your life trying to figure this out. Like, you got to get that business going. Maybe you've made sacrifices. You quit your job to start this business, or you've been at this for a couple of years and you're scraping by. You're like, okay, if I could just do this and this and this, we'll be successful. And I remember that when we had the taxi business, I'm like, okay, if I can get this account and this account and we can do this, then we can get bigger and then we can invest in that. And that's how outsourcing can help you get there sooner. And it's like a shortcut to skip some of that pain of like figuring out how to manage the calls and the phone. Like, that's a huge, important piece of your business, the customer experience. And if that's suffering, are people going to come back to you? Because really, like, when your business is trying to grow, you're competing against other businesses that already exist, unless you come up with a brand new business that's never been around before. But more than likely, you're out there competing against the big dogs, and with way less resources, way less people, and stuff. So that means long nights, not sleeping, sacrificing time with family, pouring in money to the company. Maybe I'm speaking your guys' language of people listening right now, because you're in the middle of that. And so if you're not outsourcing, or if you're outsourcing with the wrong company and they're not able to achieve the goals that you're looking at, certain handle time, happy customers, maybe the people you're outsourcing to, they could potentially have their own turnover issues, especially, in a place, there's cities here in the Philippines, they always, you might have heard me say on a past episode, you can be fired in the morning, quit in the morning, and find another job in the afternoon, because there's that many call centers. And so if it's that easy to quit and get another job, then, that's still not going to be good for you. You haven't solved that problem yet. So the turnover with your outsourced company also has to be low. Otherwise, you're still going to be cycling through, like, they're going to have to bring new people on, and they've got to learn, make some mistakes, and then they'll get to that level you're looking at. So can you afford to do that? Like the way I try to take that approach back 10 years ago, 11 years ago with my taxi business, we tried to pay people like minimum wage. Like, okay, at least we'll have some person with a heartbeat answering the phone so that it's not ringing off the hook and no one's picking up, or that it's not 1 week before we get to those customer emails. Like, someone's responding, better than nothing, but really, is it, like you've just plugged the hole, but it's still leaking. And
yeah. And I can only imagine, like, one customer will say, I'm not going to call that company again because of the experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, one customer can talk to other people and, spreading those news that, they're not being treated well. And so why not?
You need every customer when you're a small business. I don't think anybody, when you're a big giant corporation, they don't seem to care, but that's who you guys are competing against. That's who you guys think, all right, these big companies, I could do a much better job serving my community, providing this service, selling this product. And so that's who you're going. Like, you could be going up against Amazon. You could be going up against, just giant companies. So how are you going to compete against them? And how much money and time and effort are you spending to acquire those customers? And then you give them a crap experience when they call in on the phone because you don't have enough staff, or the staff you have isn't trained. They're all new because they keep getting hired again. Like, that's the kind of stuff that we help solve for small businesses. Because if you get those things figured out, and now you're able to focus on your business, or you got key people now, you got someone that was managing your call center agents, and now they're managing operations. Now they're able to, they know your business well. That's why they keep them. And now they put them in another part of the company so that you could start growing. Now you could take off more hats as a business owner, and maybe you grab some more hats, some new ones that you've been wanting to put on. And that's how you grow. And that's how working with a partner like an outsourced business like us here can help you get there and achieve those goals. So.
Yeah. So outsourcing, it's like starting to get rid of half of the problem that you have right now. So give that problem to us, and we'll help you. And go ahead and get the problem of how to grow your business. And there's so many things out there that you can do with the business. Just let us do the part where our call center can take care of.
Yeah. Focus on your core business, right? And because I always say, one of my phrases I always say is, you didn't start your business to start a call center. You didn't start your business to schedule a bunch of calendar invites and answer emails. But, it's frustrating when it's, 12 o'clock at night and you're still looking at, I've got another hour of emails I still got to get through because I don't have the resources to help answer these, or I'm taking calls, or I'm managing this person that's managing the call center. So, yeah. So I really hope that this episode, we probably will break this down into 2, but if it's one long one, then okay, thanks for listening the whole time. But I hope you got some nuggets out of this, and some valuable tips on, or reasons anyway, on if you're on the fence about outsourcing and you're thinking about, if this is right for me. And yeah, there's some real old examples Jake and I just shared on why it helps the companies that we help. And at the end of the day, almost every single client that's ever worked with us here at PackBiz over the 8 years has stuck with us. And once they start working with us, they not only do they stay working with us, but they add on more people and they grow, and then they hit the goals they're looking for. And now, what do you know? They're able to take that money that they've saved and invest it into other parts of the company to help the company grow. Or now their sales are better, and so they have more money that way, and they're able to grow. So, but it takes money, it takes time and effort, and we help with all of that for small businesses. So, well, Jake, hey, welcome back again. It's great to be doing podcasts with you again out here. Yeah. So thanks for being on the show, and thank you guys for listening. And so what are we talking about next episode? We're going to be customer experience metrics, it looks like. So,
how to measure it, and the measuring about customer experience. You should start with when the customer is be thinking of how to how to get to you, how easy it is to get to you to get your service.
And we'll talk about that in the next episode, and we'll dive into that. So thank you guys for listening. And if you want to learn more about customer experience, check us out in 2 weeks. We'll come out with our next episode. Until then, see you guys later.
All right.